Okay, thank you, Adam. Hello, everyone. As Adam said, again, I'm representing Sentione today. I would like to present today a few topics about social listening, and I would like to share with you a few thoughts about if social listening is still valid for actual days. This situation is showing that online is quite important when I see this event, and most of the people are rather online than offline. So we see how important this online part of our life now is for everyone. One question, can I share my screen? I feel it will work. So I will go with the presentation. Just give me a second. Okay, I hope that, yeah, you can see my screen. So the topic for today is, do we still need social listening? And why I'm talking about that? Because as Adam said, okay, as a Sentione, we are developing, we are sharing social listening with our customers. We are doing that since 2011. So it's more than 10 years on the market. Also, we developed new business line connected with chatbot, so with chatbot solutions. Today, we are focusing on social listening as a marketing tool. Maybe on the other day, we'll talk about chatbots. But going straight to the topic, we've got limited time and also we are out of time. So do we still need social listening? Okay, so first of all, what is social listening? So briefly, social listening is gathering information from the web, from different sources about products, about brands, about services, about competitors. People are putting a lot of information around the web as posts, comments, photos, and social listening is looking at all of that, is trying to measure it, is reading, trying to find insights from that. And I will tell you how to do it and if it's still valid. Did Sentione invent social listening? Okay, clearly not. We develop it in our way based on our collaboration with different customers globally, because as a Polish-based company now, we are working globally on all continents. So we are developing our tool based on customer needs and based on that, what they ask us. So when we are talking about social listening, it's very important to know what is allowed and what is not allowed. And why I'm telling that, because during last years, we faced something like, for example, Cambridge Analytica. If you heard about that, I feel most of the people heard about that, okay? It was just game changer for social listening tools in general, managing all the social media discussion, because Cambridge Analytica make a lot of impact on the market. And it affects that providers like Facebook, Instagram, or Meta today, or Twitter, or any other social media source, okay, are a bit closed now. Yeah, so we know RODO, okay, it's Polish term, but GDPR globally, yeah, also make a few changes, what is allowed for social listening tools and what is not, what we should do and what is forbidden. Also, Instagram made a lot of changes because we are gathering data through their API directly from Instagram, and they are changing, they are a bit closing. So it's harder and harder each day to go from Instagram, to go from Facebook. So new regulations, new terms, and also terms from Google. So a lot of big players are changing the rules, and social listening is becoming harder and harder. So you've got less data. And it's very important to understand what is forbidden, because Meta now or APIs from Instagram or Facebook, okay, you can gather data, but it's very important that you can gather data, for example, from Instagram. You can't monitor comments on posts when the accounts are not authorized, so you don't have authorized account in social listening tool. Also, searching comments from the users just based on hashtag, it's also forbidden based on an API from Instagram. Also, when you have unauthorized accounts, you can only collect this public data from fan pages or business accounts, so from any pages, any accounts from Instagram, but only public data. Similar stuff is on Facebook. So monitoring of groups and events, okay, it's now closed. It's not possible now. Or maybe it's possible if you are the owner of the group. Also, Facebook stories is tricky because for stories is not possible to monitor. They're not part of API from Facebook, and posts on private walls. So for example, my private wall, it's my private, so no, any social listening tool shouldn't check my private wall on Facebook, and it's written in Facebook terms and regulations. And also information about the authors of Facebook posts is directly connected with GDPR regulations. So we are living in this situation. I just put these most important sources, and I just mentioned that because we are living in hard times for social listening tools. It's not only Sentione, but it's the rules for everyone. So what now? But beside that, we've got plenty different sources and places to play, because still you can monitor social media. You can monitor Facebook as a fan pages. You can monitor a lot of discussion on the fan pages based on their authors, based on comments. So the whole environment around fan pages are still available. Also, when we are talking about Instagram. So Instagram and a lot of sources like Twitter, YouTube, and something like that, still you can monitor, not everything, but still there is a lot of data. Beside the main social media, you've got also blogs and forums. There are plenty of discussion around the globe. Also, important source is a Google Maps. So Google, not only this Google search, like as a marketers, you know that Google search is very important, but also Google Maps or Play Store. So places where people are sharing their information, sharing their comments, sharing their opinions. So, for example, for Google Maps, opinions about each places, like restaurant, it was good or bad. A lot of websites, and also when you can integrate your LinkedIn account, you can track your LinkedIn activity and your fans on LinkedIn. When we are looking around the web, this is from Internet Live Stats. I just took some numbers. It's today during the day, so maybe this some numbers are higher, but you need to understand the volumes. The volumes is amazing, because when we are looking on Instagram, 62 millions or much more, maybe higher because it's evening. I just took this data during the day. Videos viewed today on YouTube, not only videos, but the comments and the statistics about that are crucial. So you see how much. Tweets sent today, 542 millions. And also active users for Facebook. You need to check what they are doing, because there are plenty of them. And blogs and something like that. And we've got these internet activities, not all of them, but I just put some numbers. You've got these internet activities, and your decision is that you can go blind with that. So you are not using social listening, you are not using any tools that can help you with managing this discussion or looking at this discussion. On the other hand, you can have everything on your hand, like in one place, using social listening tools. And explanation behind that. So it's what you should listen to, because it's not obvious, but what you should listen is, for example, own brand. You should know everything about your brand, what people are talking about your brand, how your brand is communicating, and what people are reacting on your communication. You should also listen to what your competition is doing. So same things what you are doing, but check if your competition is doing better, worse, or maybe they are making mistakes. Don't do the same mistake. And that's very important in social listening. Products. So there is plenty of brands across the market when they've got multiple products, and social listening give you ability to check all the information about the products, and it's possible. Trends. Why trends is important? Because, trends, and also in the middle, some viral stuff. So, when something is trendy now, when something goes viral, it's very important, because you can use that in your RTM communication, or maybe you can use that in your next commercial, or you can just have knowledge that some disaster is happening, so you need to act. Also events, influencers, and also your customers, because it's very important to listen your customer, because they've got plenty of discussion. Sometimes we are trying to fight with this, some NPS metrics or something like that, but in social listening you've got like a whole information about honest information about customers, and from them about your products. So there is a great source of data to develop your product. And the last column, okay, about hashtags, okay, connected with trend and viral stuff, because it's always connected with that. Customer request, because sometimes they are asking something, okay, let's improve this product, or maybe they are asking for some product, okay, which is not on the market, but you can develop it. And listen about yourself, because when you are talking about social listening, sometimes it's crucial to take a look about you. Let's move on. And when you listen that, they wrote about me 100 times. So what? Yeah? This metric is nothing, because just metric that they wrote about you 100 times, okay, it's not an insight, it's just a fact. Yeah. So let's move on. Let's try. Okay, they mentioned me about 100 times, but they mentioned about my competitor a few thousand times. So I need to improve something. They mention about me 100 times, but they mention nothing about my competitors. I'm winning in this competition. Yeah? So that's plenty of insights, and I would like to go with that, because just simple number about number of mentions is not everything. It's just the beginning of the story. Yeah? So you need to understand that social listening is access to millions of online conversations. So it's not only just small part of the web when you are managing your own channel. So for example, you've got your fan page, so you feel comfortable with playing around this part of the internet. But when you've got social listening, you've got similar access to whole global network and millions of online conversations. Yeah. You've got also access to real-time monitoring, and this real-time is very crucial, because you need to know what happens now, because it's important, not what happens, okay, a few weeks ago, or if you got any crisis, you need to know it now when it's happening, not after a few days when even your neighbor know about that and telling you what's happening. You need to know now. Also, when we are talking about social listening, deep social media data analysis is very important. So it's not only this, okay, they wrote about me 100 times, but go deeply, go into the sources, go into who are the customers who are talking about you, who are those people, what they think about you, where is the connection between sentiment, positive or negative. So you can measure all of that. Also, it's very important to use social listening to this online brand reputation, this effective online brand reputation management, because when you've got all this data, you can work effectively. Crisis prevention, I was talking about that, okay, when something is happening, okay, this real-time monitoring is helping you a lot, because you've got, okay, even notification on your mobile app, or notification in-app, or notification on your mail. So finally, you've got something, you've got information about crisis, and you can act immediately. For sales, I love sales. I'm okay, selling for a whole life. So discovering new sales opportunities is quite nice thing with social listening. So I'm looking for customers who are just mentioning my company around the web, and I'm trying to interact with them so I can join the conversation. And also access to authentic reviews. Sometimes we are asking our customers, okay, do you like Sentione? If it's good for you, maybe you could recommend something, but you need to do that. When you've got access to social listening, sometimes you can just put some keywords and see, okay, those group of people are talking about us as there is authentic reviews. They are telling the truth without asking. They are sometimes complaining so we can improve. They're sometimes telling us that that feature or that improvement was amazing. So we know that we are going in the right direction. So it's easy access to customer reviews. Also, based on that, you can optimize your customer communication. So when you see that your customer expect fast reaction, expect communication on social media, and also like we see today, okay, most of us are online. We are not sitting, you're in Brno, yeah? So we are not sitting there all together, but we are using, okay, all technology to communicate everywhere. And also this customer communication could be optimized because you can get an access to all whole online communication in one place. And it gives you opportunity to control the brand image. So if it's going into good direction, if your brand image is perceived by your customer base like you want to be. Also, learning about trends. So these positive trends. So when you see some good trends, some trends in your industry, or maybe some trends when you can just took from another industry and implement in your industry or something like that. So you can learn about that and just check it. Just try to improve your product or services based on what others are doing or when market is going. Yeah? And also this building customer relationship, because customer like to have a fast answer, easy access. Okay, now we've got whole internet in our pocket. So we are using smartphones, mobile phones, and we are using to communicate with different brands. And when a huge brand is responding to me, I'm quite happy about that because I feel like a good customer for them. Yeah. Okay. And based on that, you understand the story behind social listening in general. I would like to go a bit deeply into 3 ways of social listening. So how we develop in Sentione, and also it's the sometimes direction how you can do that in your industry, in your company, or maybe it will be opener for discussion, because I'm open for some questions from your perspective. I develop, or maybe I just perceive it as 3 ways of social listening. So first one is collective analysis. There is also newsfeed analysis and alerts and reports, and I go through all of them. It's fast and easy. So first way, collective analysis. What does it mean? It means that I'm collecting all data from the web and just checking on that data based on some charts. So I see that about my brand, there was 535 mentions about that. There was some positives, some negatives. I see some peaks in the discussion. So I know that I need to analyze this part of the chart because something happened here. Also, I can measure here the numbers of mentions. I can measure the reach of the mention, how much people see that. So this is just collective analysis. So big picture, what happened about my brand, my service, about my competition, about something like that. So this collective analysis gives me chance to understand the big picture. I see if it's positive or negative discussion. It gives me opportunity to understand what's going on in the big picture before I go into details. So I see the most important sources. I see the pie chart about sources. I see also the days of the week when people are talking. And this is only the example of charts from Sentione, but at this point I would like to share you that there is an idea of collective analysis, because you just look at it, you see, okay, the top source, okay, Facebook, Twitter, okay, it's good. General discussion is positive, so it's good. I see, okay, what's the pie chart for different sources, quite good. Okay, people are talking from Monday to Friday, but weekends are off. Okay, I can go forward. But when I see, for example, what I see here, okay, something happens here. So I took, a few minutes just to check this particular day to see what happens there. If it's positive, okay, I'm happy. If it's negative, I need to react on that. And this is collective analysis. Second way of using that is going deeply into data, so real-time newsfeed. So I can open this kind of newsfeed and I can see one after another information. Here you see information about Sentione. So here you see information, I don't know, in Spanish, in English, in Polish, so in different languages, information with keyword Sentione. So you can see that people are talking about my company. So I'm really happy. I can make some filters, I can filter that, and then I can use it as a tool when I go deeply into the data. So I can play with this data. So I can reply, because there is an option to reply to the customer if needed. I can just categorize by some sources. I can just look for some typical words or authors. So this is this deeply, so real-time newsfeed. So I can just sit down and see like newsfeed on Facebook or Twitter, but this is newsfeed from whole internet in one place. And the third way is, let's call it passive way. So I'm not even logging into any social listening tool, but I'm using that as a passive way. So I'm waiting for a report. So this report or this group of reports are just on my mail each Monday at the morning. So I'm just printing that or opening this mail, and I've got information about my brand or company or what I would like to listen. So I've got one report, I can open it from my mail and use it for my Monday meetings or briefings or something like that. But also this passive way is alerts. So when nothing is happening, nothing unusual is happening, okay, I don't get an alert, but there is something important, something I see this red line, and this is okay, some part of AI in Sentione. So we are using this to detect anomalies in time. So there is some anomaly in time, and I got a report. I've got report by mail, and also I can put as a mobile notification, or maybe daily if I need. But still, this is passive way. So I'm not logging in, but I'm using that as a crisis or success alerts. It depends what I'm doing and what I configure in the tool. So that's the three ways. So first collective, second, okay, one by one, and third one just passive as a reports or alerts. So that's the general. Yeah? And I would like to share also targets for you, for each of attendants for 2022. So first of all, based on social listening, you can segment your market. So just find, okay, where are your customers? And also when you are doing that, okay, build your brand awareness and measure it based on social listening. Yeah. Also, analyze the competition. It's very important to know where you are in the market and what your competition is doing. And it's easy when you've got access to all of the discussion around the web about that. Find new customers. I was telling that social listening could be also used as a business builder, as a source of customers. So you can find new customers, not only by just picking the discussion that they are asking about your products or services, but also find new groups of customers, something like that. Also, build relations with customers. Okay, social media is very important. All of the people are using that daily, and all of them are there. So when they are asking for something, please respond. Build relation with them. Also, protect your brand. This brand authority. Protect your brand. When someone is talking about you, respond. When something is talking, okay, not fully true, please correct them. If someone is talking about that they hate you or hate your brand, okay, please don't fight with that, but explain. Okay, maybe they are wrong, or maybe you need to improve. Yeah? And then improve your product or service based on customers' opinion, based on what market is doing. So it's something what you can do. And the last one, so I hope that you can all avoid crisis. So it's something for 2022. Okay, short thing from my side, and that's everything what I would like to share with you. If you got some questions, okay, you can. There is my contact on the screen, or maybe if you want to contact me in a different way, or maybe someone would like to ask something now. So I'm open for the questions from the poll. Anyone?
Okay. Maybe somebody from the audience will have any questions, either locally or nobody wrote anything in the chat. What would you say it's like the best example how people were able to boost business recently using? Give us some stellar example of your clients who really did a great job.
Latest one. So we've got also on our website, there is amazing example with Mobile Vikings. So it's one of our customers. We go through a whole cooperation with them, and they improve the customer base. They improve the presence around the web because they start looking around the web, what people are talking about the services first, and they start looking what they are doing around the web and start contacting with the customers. So they start doing this online presence based on social listening. Social listening gave them also a lot of information about what customer need, what are their pains, and when you know the pain of the customer, you also can just repair something. You can just help them in their problems. So that's why, based on social listening, basically first you can get a lot of knowledge, and this knowledge will help you when you've got people on board who can capitalize this knowledge, because social listening is needs people who can get insights from that, because it's not only the tool what gives you numbers, but gives you opportunity to find insight from that, and this insightful stuff is helping to grow your business.
What do you think about thanks. What do you think about the future of social listening? Because as you mentioned, the Cambridge Analytica was kind of a game changer, and we see many platforms being, walled gardens, and it's all the time trickier, and our company in some cases had to go back to kind of pre-tools era, because for some of the customers, some, let's say, personal profiles on Facebook are the most important, and so we had to tackle this issue and kind of watch them manually, because that's the only way which is possible. And one extra question: do you think there's any chance that LinkedIn might be like, what do we do with LinkedIn? We know, and Koen will have probably more to say about this in his presentation about Ambassify. LinkedIn is becoming more and more attractive for, let's say, a very interesting target group, C-level people, and so on. But as far as I know, LinkedIn can't really be monitored by any tools, because basically they don't have any API for that. So what do you think? It's possible to somehow overcome these obstacles, or what would you think it's the future here? Doesn't it even threaten your business?
To be honest, I'm not scared at all. We've got a plan, and I feel we are not only one on the market who's got a plan. And I feel the future of social listening is clear. We need to involve machine learning, AI, and every other tool just to provide more insights, more sophisticated data, and just not raw data, but data after some analysis. Because today, social listening gives you a lot of raw data, and you're sitting down and can do amazing stuff based on that. But when you've got a lot of data, it takes time. So I feel that also we are working on it to improve, and now we are improving. Unfortunately, now all the tests we are providing on Polish market, because of the language, because of our capacity, we are providing this AI in social listening, and we are making categorization, automatic tagging, and a lot of stuff what gives you insight from the data. So you don't have social listening that there is 100 mentions about something, but there is 100 mentions about your brand, and half of the people are talking good, half of the people are talking bad, and half of the people are talking about delivery services of your product. And some of them are not happy about sign in front of your shop. So as much details based on data as an insights, and these game-changing insights, what can be improvement for your industry. So I think that's the one way for social listening to give ready-to-use answers for the business question. So that's the direction. And also, when you were talking about lack of access to private profiles, to different sources in general, it's not a problem it's not today's problem. It was always a problem to have an access to that, because some of the companies around the globe just obeying the rules, and they were just scrapping data. Technology gives us access to everything almost, so you can took an access to almost everything around the web. It's not so hard, but when you would like to play with the rules, you are most of the things are just hidden behind the API access to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. So still, I feel that when the need is to go deeply into my Facebook fan page, I feel that it is done like it should be. Because when I share something on Facebook on my private wall, okay, it's for my friends, it's not for a company who would like to sell me something. Yeah? So I still know that this environment, okay, is a public place, but still there is just a bit of privacy, a bit in public place. But still, I feel it's something as a good direction. And also the last part, when we are talking about LinkedIn, today we've got a connection with LinkedIn through API, and we've got connection to LinkedIn, but for now we've got only access to own page. So for example, as a Sentione, we've got access to Sentione fan page. If you would like to connect your fan page, we can connect as well, and all the comments below your publications. So the first step is done. When we are moving forward, we are waiting for all the documentation. I'm not aware at which point we are today. 100%. But I fully agree that this LinkedIn environment is improving. I see a lot of people do COVID situation just jumped from cold calls or meetings or just sending a postcards or something like that. I've got like a few business offers weekly. Yeah. So to be honest, okay, not all of the people are doing that correctly, but I've got even around my friends, a few experts who know how to use LinkedIn as a great tool. And I still believe it's a great tool, but we need to keep it at a good level. Don't make another Instagram or another Facebook from LinkedIn. Yeah, it's a business platform. So let's keep it as a business platform, and then it will work properly for the future.
Okay, thank you very much for your answers. I believe if anybody has any further questions, you can reach Daniel on the Click Meeting platform in a direct chat if you want. And let's. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
For another speaker. Thanks, Daniel. The presentation will be available, right? So people can then download the copy if interested.
Yeah, absolutely. The presentation is here.
Yeah, great. So thank you very much. The next speaker is Pavel Šafařík from ROI Hunter. He was our guest on Babeltalk number 2, which was in 2014. Since then, he grew wiser, lost his hair, and ROI Hunter went a long way from one of the first really big platforms for Facebook ads into a much bigger environment, let's say, a platform that help e-commerce platforms scale their businesses. And that's what's gonna what he's gonna talk about, how to adjust your strategy in a most possibly efficient way. So the very long title mentions $1 billion spent on Facebook and Google, which itself, I believe, is kind of a big deal. So giving you the mic, and I'll share the presentation for you. And it's your stage. We have 2 more people in the audience, so it's not 5 of us, but 7. So wow, let's do that.
So hi everyone. I just wanted to ask whether you hear me properly, but I guess I won't see the answer. So I guess that the sound is great. Anyway, before we start, I'm very thankful for two incoming people who just came recently, because you doubled the audience. And I believe that there are more people listening and enjoying the Babeltalk. So as Adam mentioned, I'm coming from ROI Hunter. ROI Hunter nowadays is a platform for big e-commerces, and our mission is basically to help the e-commerces to segment the products and in that way help them to scale their business, not only when it comes to the social media, Facebook and other networks or Google, but even help them internally to basically recognize what their products are and what these products can basically help their business to grow. So as you see, today we are going to speak mostly about e-commerce, because that's what we do. And at the beginning, I just wanted to say that it is so interesting industry, because it grows massively, not only during the last years, especially last 2 years were very challenging for the e-commerce, because due to pandemic, everyone stayed at home and everybody was like, buying things online. And today we won't very much distinguish between the sub-verticals such as like food, beauty, electronics, goods, mainly because the businesses we work with sell often all of these things. We'll talk mostly about what these businesses do have in common. And not only the huge worldwide businesses, but every shop that has more than few, let's say 100,000 products. So today's worldwide e-commerce is really huge. It's around like worth $3,000 billion. And this number is huge, but even though it's huge, it doesn't say much. But what is more interesting is the growth. What we see based on the Statista reports, the growth gonna be around like more than 50% within the upcoming 2 years. But still, this is not very surprising because we all accepted this behavior, we all accepted this word, and we all are buying things online. What I just wanted to say is that there is a huge opportunity for the businesses to like interconnect their retail activities, their offline activities, as well as with their online activities, and start to think over these businesses that they have something in common. And the most important thing they have in common are the products. But let's jump back from the board to the Czech Republic, because the vast majority of the audience, at least here in Brno, is from the Czech Republic. And I believe that even people listening online are from mainly from the Central Eastern Europe. So let's give me an example. You may have heard about the Czech Republic being the country of e-shops. According to Statista reports, there are between 40 or 50K of e-shops last this year, which is not very surprising. E-commerce platforms such as ShopTet or Shopify removed already almost all obstacles. So it's very easy to create an e-shop right now. So I believe that until I finish my presentation, there's going to be plenty of new e-shops coming to life. Of course, there is a huge long tail. It's not about this number being like a purely active, and not all of these e-shops are basically generating the huge revenue. There are only 15 e-shops reaching out turnover over 1 billion Czech crowns. These brands like Alza, Mall, CZC, Rohlík.cz. So there's going to be roughly about like a few thousand e-shops having significant turnovers. At the same time, most probably these are the e-shops you work with if you are either copywriter, if you are the e-commerce manager, if you work for e-commerce, or if you have the chance to work in an agency managing PPC or ads for these e-shops. So now we see how big the industry is, and even considering that this is one of the most important industries, we need to take a look deeper into that. What are the opportunities? So today, I just wanted to share some stories we've been listening from our customers, and we've been seeing whilst cooperating with our customers all around the globe. So let's take a look on what are the key learnings we learned worldwide and how these principles can help you. The first thing is that we like to say that the product is a creative. It simply means that people will buy what you show them, and there are two important parts of this idea. Very well-known part is basically the images and how to enhance them, how to enhance the images of products, basically by showing prices, some overlays, simply make the images looking great. The other part is about the product selection, but let's jump on the images and let's talk about the product selection later on. So first things first, we all know that image matters. So instead of simply showing the product, we always suggest our clients to enhance their images by information that could help people to recognize what the benefits of the products are, what basically the benefits of the eShop, or what the benefits of the eShop are. So we suggest our clients to basically focus on the high quality photos, even present the products from different angles. For example, like create the slideshows as you can see on the slides here, and identify any USP, the unique single selling points of the products. For example, the discounts and whatever is unique, to put it in front of the users, because all these information simply help people to find out whether the product is for buying or not. Even information like a free shipping, whether the product is manufactured locally, on all these things are very helpful to identify the opportunity of buying it. So that's something that is very well known, I believe, for everyone who has an experience with managing the eShops. Okay, so we are good there. So images look good, and but what about the promotion? What about the products you promote? We usually work with businesses that are having 10,000s or 100,000s, or some of them even millions of products. And you would agree with me, I'm sure, that it is very hard to orient within this size, this big product inventories. So let me start with some example, and it is the first story I just wanted to share with you. So we were working with a client selling the mobile phone and accessories here from the Czech Republic, and when they came to us, the problem was that their performance of the campaigns on Facebook wasn't basically good. So we suggested them to synchronize everything with ROI Hunter, and then take a look into the product inventory and try to find out where the problems are. Many e-shops selling, for example, these electronic devices and mobiles are selling even the accessories. The problem with that is that the average price for the mobile is somewhere around, I don't know, 5, 15, 20,000 Czech crowns. The price for the accessories is around like a few hundreds. And we found out that Facebook was pushing a lot these cheap products. So at the beginning, we just put into place the segmentation of the products based on the price, and we found out that Facebook is pushing mostly these cheap products. From the Facebook perspective, it was good because it had the high CTR, and the results were good. But unfortunately, the ROI, of course, wasn't as great as the client expected, because basically generating of the revenue from cheap products can be as good as from the products with a meaningful price. This is a very easy example, okay? So you don't have to have very, like big analytics. You don't have to have like any huge knowledge how to do that. You simply need to segment the products by the price. And that's the first step to do when you are taking a look into your product inventory. Because then if you find out that you're promoting products that are very cheap and not generating revenue, the next steps is obviously to exclude these products. You can do that by the filters on the product set level, or in Google Ads on the ad group level. So that's very easy. So let's move on to another example. The problem is not only the cheap products that are driving your performance down. There are even products that are kind of popular when it comes to click-through rate, and when it comes to, let's say, the engagement within the ads. Unfortunately, these products, it's always very funny when we see these cases in our Slack channel, because we always see that these products are somehow not really tend to be promoted by the brand, by the business, but Facebook algorithms or Google algorithms simply push the products because they see that these products are very popular. But if you take a look on that, you can see that these products are getting the huge exposure, and the spend is really huge there. People are clicking on it because they are interested in what is inside because of some controversial image, let's say. But at the end of the day, the ROI is very bad because it's not generating any revenue. The behavior behind this, that people are clicking on the ad, they're clicking on the products, but then they figure out that there's no reason to buy it. And you wouldn't be able to find this out if you don't, go deeply into the analytics and basically take a look product by product or category by category, or segment these products by some performance insights. So one example here is that you could basically open your product inventory in Google Analytics and take a look on the products that are generating the revenue. And if you match it with your spends from Facebook or Google, you can simply calculate the ROI. And by excluding products that are not having good ROI from various reasons, you can optimize basically your ads there. Another example is from Brazil. The previous was from England. And in Brazil, we just recently got a report about this product. And guys, this was the product that the company spent the most money for. And you can see the results. Even though they spent over 70,000 reals, which is the currency of Brazil, they got a lot of impressions. Even the CTR wasn't really bad. But on the other side of the table, you can see the ROI or the ROAS, which was really bad because nobody was buying this product. But you wouldn't find this out if you don't take a look directly into the product insights. So it's just the products are just yet another content. It's for the users who are browsing through Instagram or Facebook or any other network like TikTok. Everything what you show them is just another content. So if you put a nice image there, if you put something that people are interested to clicking on, they will do that, and they will spend your money. So our advice here, it is very simple. It is very simple. It's basically like go and analyze what you promote. Take a look into your product inventory, what you are promoting, because e-shops nowadays are just adding new products. And I saw many e-shops having like 100,000 products, but excluding even thousands of them because they didn't want to promote it. Then the second step is basically focus on the real business metrics, which is basically ROI or ROAS. Click-through rate could be even, or average or value. Then check the products and the categories. And if you don't like the performance, if you don't like the product, simply exclude them from the promotion. So that's one part of that. That was a lot about that not all products that Facebook and Google and other networks are promoting are simply products you'd like to promote. And relying on the algorithm is not the only way you can do that. Simply your inputs are, the must-have thing, and it's necessary to basically put your time and effort into that and analyze what you guys are doing on the networks. But there is one more thing which is even very important whilst working with the social networks and promoting the products of your e-shops there, and it's the part of what is left behind, what is basically not promoted. So let's start by the insights again. We see a significant growth of spend going to dynamic ads. Why? It simply saves time. It helps you scale without hiring more people. It is based on the smart algorithm, of course, as I mentioned, and is in general automation. Everybody likes it. Everybody put more energy there. Back in the years, it was more about static ads, creating static ads, but right now you put more and more money into dynamic ads. But even in this in mind, it's very important to understand what is really happening inside, as I already mentioned. All social networks, Facebook, Instagram, Google, TikTok, do not promote all your products. That is something we see that many, vast majority of our clients, or basically businesses that are coming to us, don't know. They think that, these networks split the budget or balance the budget between all products, but that's not true. And it's obvious that Facebook doesn't test millions of products, because even you don't test more than a few creatives at the same time where you're working with static ads. It's simply the same principle. It behaves the same way according to the best practices. But it's up to you what products would you like to give into the test, or put into the test, and find the right audience for. You as businesses, do you always have more data than Facebook or Google has, such as margins or any stock data, and it's completely up to you, or even the analytics from your internal measurement systems, and it's completely up to you how you segment the products and how you help Facebook and Google and these networks to find the right audience for your products. And a little bit about this paradigm. What we see and what we see on the insides is that 80% of the impressions will on average be spent or 5% of your catalog. So at the end of the day, one of the first charts our clients see in our Hunter platform is how many products are being promoted, which is very big surprise for many of them at the beginning, because everybody thinks that all products are being promoted. On the other side, in the segment of products that are not being promoted, usually these tens of persons, they are hidden gems. There might be products that could drive your revenue, but nobody pay attention, and Facebook do not promote them, or Google as well. So this works because Facebook and Google usually select, the algorithms usually select the most promising products, and they even consider risk of selecting more, because at the end of the day, the goal of Facebook and Google is basically to deliver you success. Of course, I'm not against that, But sometimes it's very hard to do that when you have like a huge inventory of the products. And Facebook simply needs to learn and match the products with the right audience. So that's something that we suggest to all of our clients, is basically to go deeper and deeper into the product inventories and like analyze what products they have. The understanding and segmenting the products is a key for basically like, even increasing or at least understanding and then increasing the performance. And we usually suggest to segment products by some general rules. You can select whatever metric you have and segment products basically based on ROI or the spend or the price or any other metrics. So these segments are just the inspiration for you. You may find it useful. And what we usually suggest is basically to find and promote the bestsellers, because these segments or these products within this segment can drive the revenue. The second thing, very important, is basically, get rid of the poor performers. So just identify the products that are not generating the revenue and get rid of them. Don't promote, and then talk to, the departments who are buying these products and have the conversation over the data, whether these products should be even incorporated into or added into your eShop. When it comes to the new arrivals, it's very important to give them the exposure and like a test and learn whether these products are worth promoting. And if yes, then do that. And if not, again, exclude them from the promotion. Another strategy is basically about like low stock products, because we saw many examples where the low stock products or basically out of stock products were promoted, but nobody could buy them. Very often businesses are doing this mistake as well. And the other thing, that there are many other strategies, but the other I just wanted to mention is even like to promote the trending products, because the trend is something that is capturing the interest of people, just by clicking, for example, on your ads, or even if you connect, for example, the Google Shopping to your as a data source. By analyzing this data source, you can see that people are searching for the products, and you can use this information to boost your products on other networks. So that was just briefly going through why it's important for anybody who is working with eShops to dig deeper into the product analysis and just not, focus on the campaigns, but like open what the campaign is promoting and understand the inventory and understand your products, and then focus how to deliver them to the networks such as Facebook, Google, TikTok, and at the end of the day, to your customers. So that was all from my side. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Unfortunately, I don't see any here.
I'd have one question. The ratio of Facebook dynamic or of the dynamic ads, okay, being over 70%. That was the chart. That comes from like your own data within the platform. So it's like, eShops, or it's like, globally.
Yeah, this is, to be honest, this is coming from our own analysis. So what we see is that the clients who are working with us do spend around the 75% in dynamic ads. But I just wanted to mention again that we are working purely with the e-commerce brands. So everyone who is using ROI Hunter simply has an eShop.
I mean, the question from my side would be, but still, e-commerce platforms or e-commerce players are probably the biggest spenders on Facebook in general. So most probably, even though if you take in account, let's say, the general brands like, I don't know, Coca-Cola or anybody else who's spending probably not on dynamic products ads because they are not using it, but still it would be, you think it's over 50% these days, like all ads on Facebook? Do you think would be beyond 50% of everything?
Well, that's a good question, but I'm afraid that I can't basically say that any number, because we need to take into the consideration that there are, for example, the brands, as you mentioned, Coca-Cola, right, and these big brands usually do spend a lot for branding campaigns and in any other like format. So I can't say it's like the dynamic or some such format is over some percentage. We would need to take a look into the official Facebook insights. But when it comes to the shops that are like directly customers, that they are using DR, so in that case, these are spending the most in dynamic ads. I'm pretty sure there.
What do you think it's like? What's coming next? So we've seen the huge rise of dynamic ads, and it's on Facebook now, like really clearly the winner when it comes to eShops. But what would you say would be the next big thing when it comes to e-commerce platforms? Is there what do you see in the like next 2 or 3 years? Because what's further it's like terra incognita and it would be just pure guess. But what do you think it's the trends for few years in advance to come?
All right, so I don't want to comment the new technologies such as augmented reality, because it's like I don't have many insights about that simply. But we see two very important trends when it comes to the target persona of the campaign strategist or whoever works in the marketing department. They are trying to diversify the activities from like purely Facebook or Meta now and Google to even other networks, because they see that, for example, the CPM or the prices are increasing on its platform. So they are taking into the consideration even other networks such as TikTok, Snapchat, and maybe Pinterest. So that's one trend that is becoming really big, especially for this year. And in the marketing departments, or basically in the commerces in general, the other trend that we are very, focusing on is sharing the data across the departments. Because as I mentioned, if you have data about your products, it helps you to optimize your KPIs when you are, creating campaigns, optimizing campaigns. You are working in the marketing department. But then this data can help even to, to synchronize between the departments. So if you are working with the merchandising teams, if you are working with the category managers, you can have the conversation with them about the products that are being bought, that are like being planned for the next season. And by having this marketing data, you can simply suggest them what to do next. It's not as easy as I mentioned, but this kind of data can help you to, to start a conversation and maybe like, build the alignment between these departments.
You mentioned Pinterest, which is, I believe, not as kind of hot topic in, let's say, Central Europe, but I've heard that in the US it's kind of like like in Czech Republic it's Heureka, right? So you You don't even have to go to the eShop website. You buy through Heureka, and I understand that the same way it might work, or it works already in the US, that you buy directly from Pinterest. And do you see it coming to Europe as well, or do you see even Central European eShops start focusing on Pinterest? Because I think it's I remember Vašek Blahout a year and a half ago, talking about Pinterest ads in the context of, let's say, Czech Republic or Central Europe, that it's becoming bigger, but still it's kind of under the radar. Not many people write about it, not many people talk about it, and still definitely the audience is there, even though it's kind of special audience, different from other platforms. But maybe that makes it even better, right? Because they are older, maybe more able to buy, and in specific verticals that could be a good add-on to your marketing strategy these days.
Yeah, so even for us, Pinterest is under the radar because, as you mentioned, is when we talk about the Facebook, Google, TikTok, Snapchat, the Pinterest is the smallest of them. Still, in the regions we operate. And from my perspective, as an inspirational platform, so come there, you see many inspirational things there, but there is, from my perspective, missing the connection between the browsing process and the buying process. They have some ad formats, they have API, they have this technological support, but we don't see the purchase power to be there. And I don't have many insights about Pinterest and the Czech Republic, unfortunately.
Okay, so that's it from Pavel. Thank you very much. We'll já ho tady zapnutý mám, ale tak to ještě nevypínej. We'll get to the next presentation, which is going to be Natália from Kontentino. Kontentino has been for a long time kind of my favorite social media planning platform because of its easiness and kind of nice support for many languages. So, Natália, are you ready? Yes, great. So the stage is yours. You can share your screen. Hello.
Great. Can you hear me? Hear me well?
And it's yours.
Great. Can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Someone's typing. Yes. Okay. No, that was me. Yes, we can hear you. Amazing. I'm gonna share my screen then. All right. Can you see it? Hopefully, yes. Yes, okay. So let me start. Hello, everyone. My name is Natália Kimličková, and I'm a product marketing manager in Kontentino. Today, I would like to tell you a little bit more about how Kontentino is helping now more than 5,000 agencies and brands with their social media management, and how we are able to save our users around 30% of their time on operational tasks. So I would like to start from the beginning and bring up the issue that so many social media managers are still facing these days. And they are very often feeling like this little poor guy on the screen that we can call John. So what's John feeling is a lot of anger and frustration from his social media planning. Why is that? Well, John's frustrated because he just uses way too many tools. So he jumps from Excel when he has all his campaign overview to Word where he has his copies, to Google this when he has his assets. And we know Jones that even use paper calendar to be sure that they're gonna post something on a certain date. Secondly, John is being caught in the never-ending email communication loops with his client, with his team, with his boss, and basically the feedback turnaround takes ages and his work is really stagnating. All the screenshots of the content are being sent in attachments, and very often they're being labeled as the version final of the final. And John is really confused what is actually the final approved version. He's been trying already to come up with a solution to his problem, and he tried one of the well-known social media platforms such as Hootsuite or Buffer. But he very quickly found out that these platforms are really good for planning. However, they are not really solving the issue with approval processes and workflow processes. So there are fundamental problems with John's workflow. His process is extremely time-consuming and unreliable. His team has a very poor overview of content calendar, which is very often not being updated to its latest version. And they have very poor overview also over the post statuses. So they don't know what has been approved already, what is waiting for the approval, and so on. This process then is really prone to errors and misunderstandings. So what is happening is that something wrong gets scheduled on a wrong Facebook page on a different date, and consequently the team has problems with meeting deadlines and is not delivering the work promised to clients. These are huge issues that have an enormous impact on the relationships, both internal and external. And the frustration really arises in the team. People are always trying to find the responsible one for the errors. And what is even more alarming is that with every argument, the relationship between client and agency shatters and can even eventually lead to the end of future collaboration. Losing clients is extremely alarming, since acquiring new client can be from 5 to 25 more times expensive than retaining one. And that's a lot of money. So let's talk about how to retain a client and how to have a better collaboration, not only with your client, but also within the team. So the first point that I would like to elaborate on is transparency. Agencies should really not be afraid to let their clients to see their process. So they really should let them see how they are thinking about the strategies, about the content creation process, who is working on what, and really just let them see that the time that they are paying for to the agency is really well spent. Actually, they should include as many people from the client side as possible. We made a study last year with our Kontentino users, and we actually found out that the high number of touch points our users had with their clients, the bigger is client retention. So having as much as 2 points of contact on the client side can actually increase the retention by 45%. So again, agencies, don't be afraid to just let your clients see a little bit of what you're doing and how you're doing that. Transparency goes hand in hand with the feedback. I am sure that everyone knows how feedback, both internal and external, is important. There are many ways of obtaining the feedback, like NPS score surveys and etc. However, the feedback that I would really like to emphasize on is the real-time, constant one that happens during the whole collaboration process with a client. So this feedback needs to be very easy, transparent, on point, and this is why email communication is not really helpful here. In the same study, we actually looked at the engagement rate of clients' role in Kontentino, and we were able to find a very interesting fact. Agencies who lost their clients had the engagement rate in Kontentino much lower compared with ones that managed to retain their clients. So really having at least two points of contact on the client side and let them be engaged in your processes is paying off and is increasing the retention rate. The third point is education. So agencies really need to act as consultants and educators for their clients, because the biggest asset they could actually bring for the client is the well-informed outside perspective they have, and this perspective actually nicely reflects in their strategies and content creation processes. So they should share constantly these know-how, this knowledge with their clients, so they will get updated, they will be on the same page and understand why the agency is doing things as they are doing, and that they are actually based on some valuable facts. Of course, the education should be two-way, so clients should also share as much knowledge as they have with the agency. Transparency, feedback, and education are the 3 points that are creating the most fundamental pillar of all relationships, which is trust. So as in personal life, the trustful relationships have a much bigger chance to stay together in the long run. And this is why also Kontentino has been created in a marketing agency. It was created to especially meet these needs to improve the relationships with clients, but also internally. And that's why we focus so much on making the collaboration processes very flawless, easy, and transparent. Now I would like to give you a real life example from our users. They're called the Loop Marketing. It's a Chicago-based marketing agency, and basically they were experiencing very similar problems with social media planning that John has. And when their processes were really getting off their hands, they decided to try Kontentino. So one of their main issue was that they were lacking an overview of their campaigns, and they were basically not able to plan the content around it. This issue was very quickly solved with Kontentino's intuitive, transparent calendar, where the Loop Marketing can plan all the content ahead. They can see it nicely organized. They can see straight away what statuses have each post. And they can just easily move or copy the post by drag and dropping it. They also found really beneficial to have all the clients and projects nicely organized and grouped with all their respective social media profiles and assets. The process of post creation is very, very intuitive and easy in Kontentino. So the users can upload almost any media format through computer or media library. then add text with mentions and do other great stuff like create hashtag presets or shorten the links straight away in the tool. After that, they can plan the post on a specific date and time or leave it dateless. After they save the post, the content creator immediately can see how the post is going to look like when live on a certain social media profile. So they can switch between the mobile view and desktop view, and this way all the team and clients can be 100% sure that the post is going to be flawless. Next, to the post preview, we have a space for internal and external communication, where all the team and clients can meet to discuss the post right next to the post preview. They can also notify all the users by simply tagging them in the communication. And this collaboration process was actually groundbreaking for the Loop marketing, because they were experiencing issues with clients that were not reading the emails, that they were missing the emails. The feedback turnaround was just very, very slow, and they had no other way to notify them about the post. So the communication section is divided to internal and client one. Clients cannot see the internal communication. Also, the users can see all the changes made to the post, so there are no more misunderstandings. And they can assign tasks to other users, and when they have the post ready, they can send it for internal approval, for example, to the team leader or to the client. Once the post is sent for approval, the person will get notified not only by email, but also the in-app and mobile app notifications. And they will receive basically a link to the post that looks like this. They see the live post preview, communication next to it, and these two beautiful buttons through which they can just approve the post or send it for rework very quickly, basically in a few seconds. So this approval process was very, very handy for the Loop marketing, because they have a lot of clients that require a multi-level approval process. That means that they can have 5 people from the client side that need to see the post, but only one is authorized to actually approve it. So Kontentino is really helpful here. All other people from the client side can see the post, they can comment on it. However, it will be sent for approval only to the authorized person who will do the final action. The Loop marketing agency clients really also loved the option to be able to approve the content with a mobile app, since they can do it on the go whenever they are. And on the other hand, the agency was getting like very quick instant feedback on the content. I will tell you about one more feature that the clients of our users really love, and that's inspirations. So they can basically provide all the suggestions and ideas for content in different inspirations calendar. And clients love it because they can be really in the process of content creation. And as we know already, it's really important that they are in this process involved. So as a result, after changing from this very, very messy collaboration processes and social media planning processes to Kontentino, the Loop marketing was able to improve client turnaround by more than 50%, which definitely reflected on the whole collaboration, on the level of collaboration they have now with their clients, but also with the internal team, and the way the relationships are right now. Also, they are now able to plan all the content ahead and be sure that it's being approved on time and by the right person. So they're really getting a little bit more peace of mind. Last year, we've been wondering how much time we are actually saving to our users. So we dig deep into data and spoke with many of our customers and found out that actually Kontentino on average saves 40% of time on operational tasks compared to no social media tool workflow. And monthly on average, the user saves 23 hours compared to standard workflow. So I talked a lot about collaboration processes and social media planning, but Kontentino can also help with many other stuff. One of those things is having a better overview of task management and post statuses thanks to our Kanban view. Then we have a content base, which is a module that is great for agencies and brands that need to adapt the global content to local markets. And our users are also able to analyze their posts and page performances in very easily comprehensive analytics. Our program developers team is right now working on analytics right now to bring even deeper data. And one of our latest big releases was also Engage, where our users can connect with the community and basically manage all the messages and comments from Instagram and Facebook. And lastly, this year we are coming up with a huge big module that's called Ads Planner. Ads Planner is a place where all the teams can meet to plan, create, and collaborate also on the paid content. So give Kontentino a try if you feel like it. There is a coupon especially for Babeltalk, which gives you 1 month of free trial. It's usually just 14 days, so get the most out of it. And that's it from me for today. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't see any concrete questions in the chat, but I do have. Daniel is asking. So, your turn.
Okay, so someone is asking why having more touch points on the customer side is better, since they prefer to have single point of contact. To be true, I'm not really sure why some clients just prefer to have more I'm starting from the beginning, sorry. I think that some people from the client side would just prefer to see the process, so they won't just get really surprised at the end, like, okay, what is this, why this was made this way. And I mean, the process can be like very easy with the touch points. So I think, yeah, it's just better to have more touch points on the client side. I cannot really elaborate on that more, but as our users also shown, that having that is much more valuable for their business. I don't know if I really explained well to your question, but maybe I can give back to you later when I found more data about this. I'm sure that the person that was actually conducting the study will have better responses.
Thanks. When it comes to your experience, I remember Kontentino kind of grew up from the collaboration within like the agency process, that you kind of faced your own. You need to find a solution for your own problem, which I kind of really like, because it's something that I can relate to. And we now use Kontentino in a similar case. And I remember guys from Kontentino talking about having as early adopters people from Benelux, which also struggle with several languages.
Yeah.
Do you think this is something more companies are facing these days, that they basically have to scale over more and more markets. Is it your typical use case?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yes, I think the companies are now scaling worldwide. And we can see that our clients have also clients worldwide from very different countries, also as we go global to the whole world. So yeah.
And if you can share, it's like I remember, one of your competitors, Zoomsphere, they
Yes.
claim that they are really successful in Indonesia. So do you have also some kind of example of, let's say, a country which wouldn't come into mind first, but for you might be a interesting market?
Not really sure. We are very, very strong in the Benelux countries. But I don't think we have any like very surprising specific country that we would be strong in. Actually, we don't find Indonesia as a very good market, so we don't really go to Asia. We are being focused more on the Europe and now maybe trying a little bit of America. But no, I cannot really think of any very interesting one.
No problem. I mean, it's like Europe with its fragmented languages and many markets to cover. I think it's for many agencies and businesses, it's been kind of a struggle. What do you think it's like what do you see as the trends which are coming, and what are, I don't know, like most asked for features you have in pipeline? What's expect to come in 2022
So
for
I would
Kontentino?
say the video is just huge. The short videos is huge. So people are asking for reels. They are asking for TikToks. TikTok a lot of as well. We can see actually that people really want LinkedIn analytics, LinkedIn community management. And we can also see that the creator economy is really booming, which comes in hand in hand with basically the video formats. So we need to also think how to get close to influencers and this segment of people.
I for myself like the possibility of including LinkedIn personal profiles of people, which is kind of nice to have integration, but it's basically kind of one-way part at the moment. So you can post as a LinkedIn profile, right?
Yeah.
But how about interacting as a LinkedIn profile?
You mean as a community, in a community management?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what are the APIs over there, so cannot really say.
Yeah, it's like I'm returning to LinkedIn several times tonight, because that's something which is bugging me all the time.
Yeah.
With LinkedIn being my kind of playground as well. But that could be a kind of a bridge next for the next presentation,
Yeah.
because Ambassify is about employee advocacy, and that takes part not just on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is a major platform for employee advocacy. So thank you very much. If there are
Thank you very much for having me.
no other questions, I see Bohumil has
Bohumil replied better on my face.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we'll get to the next presentation. Koen, it's up to you. Just a few words. We are very happy to have Koen Stevens from Ambassify, the CEO himself. Ambassify is one of the leading platforms when it comes to employee advocacy, which I think it's one of the most important trends in social media last year, this year, and it's kind of my personal task to really get into this for the next year. So I'm really looking forward to learn more about the possibilities of your platform, and the stage is yours. Hello.
Okay, thank you, Adam. How's the crowd there? Is it evolving, or is it still 4 people who have beers?
Don't even ask.
Are they all
No,
left?
we've had
all
a
at the bar.
few more people since the beginning, but I think it's a record low attendance for Babel Talks over those 8 years. On the other hand, we had 50,000 COVID cases yesterday, which is a record high for the Czech Republic since the very beginning, I believe. So yeah, I have triple vaccination, and I had Delta in November. So I don't. I believe I can't get any further. But many people, I understand that they don't want to become 50,001 case. So hopefully let's see that the transmission online will get some more people also, not just today joining us live, but also like for the YouTube video in the days to come.
Yeah, sure, cool. Also at 50K people here in Belgium, I don't know if that's a good point actually. So let's maybe go to the presentation itself. If everything goes well, you should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, we do. It's okay. It's yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. So yeah, thank you for the invitation. So I'm going to speak a bit more about employee advocacy, employee engagement. I'm the word of mouth director at Ambassify, a company that's very active in that space, specifically in Europe. So I think it's quite relevant. And our story basically boils down to one thing, and that one thing is your people. The people in your company are the only secret weapon that you still have today. It's those people and how close they are to you as a company that really makes a difference. And that's why we built this community-driven platform that you can utilize for employee advocacy, but also employee engagement, employer branding. And the goal on a higher level really is to build genuine and lasting connections with people who move the needle within the organization, people who really are making the difference, to try to engage with those employees through a centralized web platform or mobile app, obviously, these days. Why is that so important? We hear people talking a lot about competition, but the competition is a different ballpark game today. The only thing that really differentiates you from another company is the people that are inside the company. Not the product or service can be copied, not the culture can be influenced one way or the other, not the brand can be bought. It's only about the people. And that's what we focus on at Ambassify, because the people are the only dominant USP these days in business. Why is this so relevant? We've all seen this research of Gallup that only a very small percentage of employees is actively engaged with the company. And this has huge consequences for the companies. It correlates with decrease in productivity. It kills the team morale. I'm sure you can all relate with that. People leave the company more quickly, and it also affects customer satisfaction, just to name a few things. So how can we turn that around? So we thought about this, but we have not been the only company talking about this. Who knows this guy? I cannot see you, but I'm imagining that everyone is doing, hey, pick me, pick me. So yeah, you, yes, indeed. It's Seth Godin, the marketing guru, and he basically said last year, like, hey, the future of marketing is community. And that's basically where Ambassify comes in. So in the last presentation of Natália, she was talking about trust. Ambassify basically is a platform to scale trust. So I'm a huge believer in that story as well. And we do that through that centralized, genuine and trustworthy platform that drives employee engagement, that drives employee advocacy. So A lot of our customers start very simply with social sharing of company messaging. We now have very cool features to be able to share video natively on LinkedIn, for example, because you mentioned it a few times already during this evening. We have functionalities to be able to A/B test the copy and the images that are going out on your social media networks. We have scheduling features, etc. So we really have built like a top-notch solution on the employee advocacy front. But for some of our customers, it doesn't stop there. You know, when they see this is working and they present this to their board, etc., and they want to move further into the story, then they can also move beyond pure employee advocacy and start really looking into employee engagement, building a two-way relationship with the employees in the organization, not only asking them to do stuff for the brand, you know, push communication, for example, doing a social share, writing a review on G2 Crowd or Glassdoor, posting something on Instagram, but also asking for their feedback, input campaigns, pull campaigns, for example, ideation campaigns where they can voice their own opinion, polls, surveys, net promoter scores. We have around 40 different types of campaigns in the platform, push and pull, a nice combination. And you can use it to basically build your employee CRM system that way, because you will see all the interaction that the employee has done with the organization, which is extremely valuable and obviously GDPR proof. Also important these days, as we heard in the first presentation, in one centralized system being Ambassify. And this could even grow into employer branding over time as well. I promise to give you some very specific examples, and I will do that later in this presentation. Let me try to play this movie. The sound might not be 100%, but it's not that relevant for the story. It's about trust. So I was talking about the trust of the employees. I'm not going to show that trust again with the video. I'm going to talk about employee advocacy and give you some specific examples after this slight delay. So KBC is a well-known bank in Europe, and normally when they promote like a big action, they hire a marketing agency and they pay huge marketing fees to get the word out there. But this time, back in the day, KBC was the first bank that allowed WhatsApp communication directly with the members of the bank. And they communicated this only through their own employees. So they used Ambassify. They selected a small percentage of their employee base, around 500 people, and they shared it on their own social media channels with just one click. The cool thing is it generated almost 24,000 clicks to that specific article on their company blog. If you know what the average cost per click is in banking and insurance, then you can imagine that they basically, the program was completely paid back for with just one campaign. So that's how strong the power can be of employee advocacy. If you have decent content, obviously, if you have high quality content, that's a very important thing to note there. So that's just one example. Another example is Barco. They power some of the lights at Times Square, for example, also quite big in cinema and in medical devices. Technology company. They had the same amount of members, around 500, and those were the results after 1 year usage of the platform. So around 342 members were active. They gave the child a name, you know, the Barco All-Stars. And the cool thing is it saved them over 100,000 euros in the first year alone. So that's a huge ROI that they saw on a very limited investment at the time, based on the basic social sharing employee advocacy features that they needed at the time. So without having anything to do in the platform, because it was an automated context, they saved over 100,000 euros, and they're still a happy customer today, years later. Very important, and I was speaking about it a bit before as well. You need a combination of push and pull communication to make sure that a little something called social share fatigue doesn't happen when you start those employee advocacy programs. When the people in the program get the feeling like, yeah, I have to share this again because I'm being asked to do it, but without the content being extremely well targeted to them, or original or cool content they can share, or without having the option to also give input to the brand. For example, how should the next team meeting look like? What location should we pick for our team building exercise, etc. You have ideation campaigns, surveys, polls, etc. to make that happen. Then you really start building that two-way relationship, and that's much more powerful than just plain employee advocacy. Then we're really starting to talk about employee engagement, gathering feedback and giving your community a voice. This is a video, not going to play it because of potential sound issues, but the video basically was presented to KBC, to the employees of KBC. Those were two different TV commercials, and they could pick their favorite commercial, and with that insight, so the left video won. With those insights, KBC could then work out other campaigns, etc. So basically, the employees of the organization, of the bank, also got the feeling that they are really being listened to, and it also helped them with the push campaigns. They were much more likely to also participate in those push campaigns. So that's a great example of how that mixture between push and pull campaigns is extremely important. Revival Animal, I'm sure there are also some smaller companies here in the room. I think it's one of our smaller customers. They only have 65 employees. The cool thing is, when you're a small company, most of the time you get most of the company on board, so 52 advocates. And they started slow as well, but already with giving their employees the possibility to give feedback to them. So they organized a team event, and they basically allowed them to pick what they wanted to eat. Just a small ask to get people into the habit, to get people to build that muscle, basically, of doing different kinds of interactions with the brand. Every new year, they donated a good sum to charity, and those 50 ambassadors could basically pick the charity of their choice, or could add it through the ideation campaign, and 20 different suggestions came in. So you can see that they are really attached to the brand here, and then the company picked the one with the most votes. So again, it gives that extra sense of purpose, and I think that's missing today in a lot of social media tools out there, is that sense of purpose, and that's something that you can really build up by driving that employee engagement. And then they went in for the win. So in their case, Revival Animal wanted to increase their reviews on Capterra. They had very low reviews, only a small employee base as well. But because they already built that muscle, and then went in for the ask, like, hey, can you write a review for us on Glassdoor? Because you have been able to voice your opinion on different matters as well. They immediately got 15 new reviews in through that website, which was a 300% increase in reviews. So then it becomes tied to ROI very quickly, obviously. Then it becomes a numbers game very quickly, if you can see the power of that community, the power that you can build out that way. So why do you need, what's that purpose? Why do you need internal ambassadors? It's about creating content together with those employees. It's about your employees becoming your best brand ambassadors, which is the cheapest form of human capital, if I can put it that way, that you can put to work, right? They will share the company messages, the company initiatives, vacancies via their own social and trusted media networks. Next slide. Why is this so important for you as a company? Because they are more engaged. We talked in the beginning about Gallup, and them saying that a lot of employees and companies today are actively disengaged. So everything we can do to solve that will pay off. So people get more engaged, people will become high performance, and they will stay longer with the company, which are huge wins and are huge cost savings as well. Some examples of companies. This one is just a very simple one, because it's important to know that you should try to put variation in the campaigns that you put out there. Not only ask them, hey, share this post, but also ask them for other stuff. In this specific case, they used a simple form through our Ambassify platform to gather user-generated content of their pets in this specific case. And we saw that almost 20% of the advocates in the community participated, which is quite high. And more than 80 comments were left on that specific Facebook post. So you can easily drive that behavior, mix up the campaigns, and go away from only doing social sharing, because that's my opinion, that will become a commodity over time, So you really have to differentiate on that use case if you want to win in this space, and you also need to extend from that. So that's why we talk about employee advocacy, employee engagement, employer branding. It's the whole future-proof promised land, basically, that you should be able to go to. And employee advocacy can be like a great stepping stone, first way to get there. One final topic with some examples, obviously, I want to touch on is recruitment through social media. That's also, especially for HR people, a huge win for social, because they get more quality candidates, they can speed up the hiring process at lower cost, and they are the best source of referrals. So we have different ways to do that. You can work with just sending out a trackable social media link on the different social media channels. We then can see 100% sure, because we have native integrations with LinkedIn, with Facebook pages, with Twitter, etc. So we can be 100% sure that somebody shared this on a specific social media channel. And also when somebody converts, we can track that. So let's say, for example, that Natália shared a vacancy yesterday, or let's say 3 months ago, on her Twitter account. And tomorrow Paul is starting at the company. Then through our system, you can perfectly track that she was responsible for that hire, and we might automatically give her something through our gamification feature. So that's pretty cool. It also works in a slightly different way. You can also promote it. You're all marketing people here for webinars, for example, and then you can perfectly say like, okay, Koen was responsible for 20 subscriptions to the webinar, and Peter was responsible for the 2 in real life participants that showed up at the event, just like today, right? For the beers. That's perfectly possible and 100% trackable through the system. Next to the affiliate way to do this, you also have the referral way to do this. And that basically means that you can also ask people to come up with people they think about. So for example, when you need positions that are pretty hard to fill in, let's say an HR manager, then you could just ask that question to that pool of people, and they can think about it and write down recommendations and the contact details of people they know. And that works very well. Koen is one of our customers that's using it that way. And you can see per campaign that they use with a very small ambassador set, they get 16 referrals on average. So that's huge, actually. And that's for the HR department, extremely easy to just pick up the phone and make those 16 phone calls. And in the end, we've also seen conversion, so people joining the company, which is extremely powerful. Okay, not to talk too much about Ambassify. So what can you do yourself today without having to buy software that's out there? So you're probably already using MailChimp or a similar tool. Just invite a few of your employees into that group as a first step. Second step, send them a few challenges over time. Don't talk too much about, hey, we're going to do a test and blah, blah, blah. No, just ask them to share something on social in the first email. A few weeks later, ask them to like your Instagram page or to comment something on LinkedIn, and an open question, for example, 1 or 2 weeks later. And then based on that behavior of the employees, you can see, okay, this is a pool of employees that's really wanting to work with us as a company. And then you can start thinking, okay, but I want to be able to track everything, to measure everything, to scale that program, to get huge returns in a measurable and centralized way. And that's where we come in with Ambassify, basically. But you can do the testings, the testing of the water perfectly 100% yourself in the beginning of the conversation. And then at a certain point, if you're ready, just like these customers were at a certain point, then you can join like a professional platform that's completely in compliance with all the rules out there and has all the modules to make your program a success, basically. Okay, that's it for me. A small goodie. Everyone loves goodies, and as we don't have a physical goodie bag here today, you can get a free content calendar that we created. We saw in the previous presentation all the topicals that were presented. So you can just download our content calendar at the bit.ly address /Ambassify calendar, as you can see. So when you go there, you get a direct download. You don't have to leave any details or anything like that. So feel free to have a look, have fun with it, and do reach out if I can help you in any way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Koen. We don't have any questions from the audience yet. So I would ask one thing, which I have kind of recurring topic from my side, and that's what do you perceive as trends for this year? What do you think is gonna be the next big thing?
Yeah, I think we heard it today already, but video is really the key thing. I think when we look at the most requested features, most of the time video was part of that, and that's also why we really made the decision to build out our native integrations with the social media platforms, and that today we are one of the only companies out there. Oh, that's interesting feedback. Sona, I will get back to that in a bit. Does everyone have that? If you download that link? Yeah, I will get back to that in the comments a bit later. But yeah, videos everywhere, so that's why we decided to really focus and double down on that. And that's really paying off for us, being able to, from an employee advocacy platform with one click, because of the linked social media connections already, push video and then in a native way. So that means that LinkedIn will recognize it as native video, will automatically create like a notification, an email, hey, your video has been posted, etc. That's really like a trend-setting move currently that's really helping us with our prospection and deal flow. And next to that, I think it's the thing I spoke about in the beginning, like I see very simple social sharing basically as becoming a commodity in the next few years. So I think companies that are still focused 100% on that simple basic use case, it will still work for a little while, but then you really need to crystallize that use case and to integrate with other systems in the ecosystem and really add value to that use case versus just saying like, hey, you can spread your messaging this or that way, because it will become a commodity. That's also why we are positioning ourselves in a much broader way, although you can perfectly start that way. But even on that basic use case, you will have advanced features to be able to extend your reach, basically.
In a way, I think it's, I might be the old guy, which is not preferring video content that much. And, honestly, yeah, it's true. I'm old. I'm almost 40. And I really, really prefer text. And I think I'm in a probably in a minority of social media users who are still, longing for the old Instagram, not having all these Snapchat and TikTok features, which are so common and so trendy these days. Do you think there's some chance of, text revival?
Yeah, I think the text thing is still happening, because also in employee advocacy, there were no other options maybe just a few months or 1 year ago. So you had to go with text basically, or with a link to an external video. So I still think, to answer your question, that the copy is extremely important. That's also why we, by default, have integrated into the system a way to add different blocks of copy, for example, or different images. And that way you can you can mix them up and really make them fit with your personality. So if you're much more text driven, then you can use the best written text part and then use that to share your content, to give the personal touch as well. So that will always stay. And I totally feel what you're saying. We're in the same age range. Maybe that has something to do with it, Adam. But indeed, I also, to be honest, prefer like quickly zigzagging through some text because it's just much quicker. Or when I YouTube, it's most of the time at 2.5x or something. You know, it's at much faster speed because otherwise sometimes it takes a bit too long, the videos with the intros and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it is important that everyone has the capabilities that he or she needs and are the best fit with his or her personality, right? And that's what we enable at Ambassify.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's like in one way we see the rise of video so much in very different platforms, and we even saw the LinkedIn stories, which didn't really make it. But at the same time, for example, for our clients, we see with Facebook, with different verticals, people or audiences 50 plus being these days the most active on Facebook, and they are still not, you know, the video people. So maybe those brands or those people who are looking for, you know, the older audience, they might still find those people interesting, and you know, the older ones have more money than the young ones.
Also important, but indeed, I think it's basically just the preferred media type. And I think as platforms, and we are all platforms here, our job just is to enable all possible media channels, and then it's up to the user how they will use it, obviously. But if it's possible, we need to make sure that they are available, and that's what we have been focusing on, Adam.
Yeah, we have the question about TikTok and Snapchat there. So what do you think about the integration of these?
Yeah, it's I don't know on a technical level how easy they are to integrate. I know that that it was not possible like maybe 1 or 2 years ago, but they have business APIs now. I think even Instagram has post APIs. So there's definitely something that we are exploring more and more. But again, it's also something that we don't really put our own marketing dollars in. And when we look at our customer base, it's a lot of banks and financial companies and pharma companies, and they are also still trying to find their way. You know, so in general, yes, if we see that these questions keep on coming from our customer or prospect base, but we're not going to fully implement it just because it's hot and happening. You know, that's the way that we work most of the time.
Yeah, I can relate to this. In case of, you know, influencer.cz, we've been one of the first agencies in Czech market to be able to sell TikTok ads. We're not doing it just because it's hot, but we have to see the value which is in there. But as others shown, that's the potential is there. So I believe in the future, those with, I don't know, I can imagine McDonald's getting new hires or making employer branding might switch to TikTok because the people are there. So it would make sense, right?
Yeah, and actually, KBC, I just mentioned it. It's a bank, you know. It's not that sexy as McDonald's, but they already started to experiment with TikTok, not through our platform, but one of our partners. I saw a commercial passing by, and we also heard somebody else talking today about the content creator category that's very strong these days. And indeed, they used one of those creators basically to create like fun way to show how fun it was to work at KBC. So yeah, I can definitely see them then using an advocacy platform to really make sure that messaging goes out. But today it's not yet possible directly from the platform to push to those platforms, basically. That's where we are today. Yeah.
Sure. Well, so let's see where the future brings us. Thank you very much, Koen, for your input, and
You're welcome.
I'll be happy to take part in this employee advocacy adventure in the future, hopefully even with you. And
yeah, cool.
That's it. I think that's a wrap up for us today. So thank you those who were here. Thank you those who were online. Hopefully more folks will be able to join us later on and see what has been told. I believe Babeltalk will, survive this COVID situation and get back stronger in coming month. Hopefully everybody's going to be healthy and not afraid of this complicated situation. And yeah, so keep your eyes on for the next events to come. We're planning to make the offline parts not just here in Brno or in Prague, but hopefully even in other cities around Central Europe. And yeah, that's it. Have a nice evening and see you next time.